Good afternoon. I'd like to introduce the glacial microbiome and ecosystem sustainability. Glacier cover 10% of the Earth's surface area. It's very important to global hydrology, and it's also very sensitive to climate change. Glacier is not only a source of river, but also a pore of carbon, nitrogen, and microbe. When global warming and glacier melt, the nutrient and microbe were released, and then it impacts the downstream ecosystem stability and the health. So we focus on the glacier microbe. Only in Tibet Plateau Glacier, we identify almost 1,000 species of microbe in the glacier with 19 million of genes. And most of these glacial microbes are specialists. So it means global warming will lose the microbial diversity and function. And another one fear of glacial microbe is like the ancient microbe were released to the modern society because unknown virus sequence and tomato virus RNA are found on ancient ice core. But our work finds 10,000 of virus in the modern glacier. We find most of viruses are phage, and human-related DNA viruses are extremely rare. So we can see that glacier as a safe reservoir of ancient virus. So we should pay more attention to the impact of glacial retreat on the carbon cycle in downstream ecosystem. In the pre-glacial lake, we find that glacier influence the lake ecosystem by input the microbe and the nutrients, and it also changes the physical property, and this all influence the downstream ecosystem. And we also find the methane release increase influenced by the glacial retreat because the glacial melt changes the glacial force from the methane sink to methane pore. So we propose a 5 work to evaluate the impact of glacial microbiome under climate change. We want to know what kind of microbes are stored in the glacier and what are released downstream, and also what are their impact in the biochemical cycle and on the ecosystem safety, and also how global glacier differs in their response. We want to make advance to the policymaker to mitigate the impact of climate change. This year, Chinese government passed a law to protect the ecosystem of the Tibet Plateau. This is a small step, and we want to this kind of law on the global scale, and then we can achieve a balance of the glacial integrated ecosystem sustainability, tourist, and ecosystem development. That's my introduction. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my honor to have this opportunity to present our work on the atmospheric water vapor stable isotopes on the Trans-Himalaya and Arctic. Our research is supported by the TBE program and the STEP project. So, as we know, the Arctic and the Trans-Himalaya has a similar environment and are populated by the cryosphere. During the past 50 years, they are warming at almost twice rate of the global average. And as a consequence of the warming, the melting of the cryosphere is enhancing, which regulates the water cycle in both regions. On the other hand, the melting of the cryosphere is connected globally via the water and the atmosphere. So if we want to understand the climate change better, we should have a full view on the cryosphere melting and the water cycle in both regions. So our study focuses on how does the Arctic warming and the melting impact the changes of the mid-latitude environment, and whether the similar mechanism regulates the changes of the water cycle in the Trans-Himalaya and the Arctic. Here we use the water-stable isotopes to try to trace the water cycle in both regions. Due to the fractionation of the oxygen and the hydrogen isotopes, the isotopic radio is decreasing from the ocean to the land if there's no other moisture mixed during the moisture transport. So we can monitor the atmospheric water vapor stable isotopes to trace the atmospheric water cycle. And since 2014, we have established the monitoring network of the atmospheric water vapor stable isotopes on the Trans-Himalaya. And all these stations located along the moisture transport by the westerly and monsoon. And we use these high-resolution data could get each changes of the atmospheric transport. Since 2017, we started to use the test balloon try to monitor the vertical profiles of the atmospheric components. In this way, we'll know the vertical mixing between the local evapotranspiration and the large-scale advections. And this video shows the setup of the balloon system during the Everest field work in May 2022. And since 2019, we started to collaborate with the scientists from the University of the Iceland. This figure shows the 3-year continual observations of the vapor stable isotopes here. And we can see the clearly dynamic cycles and also the annual variations. We try to understand the key process leading to such variations. We found the unexpected influence of the sea ice on the moisture transport in this region. So I'll give you more details in our session. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jinzhi, and I'm from Institute of Tibetan Plateau, Chinese Academy of Sciences. I'm happy to share my research with all of you. My brief introduction is about Tibetan permafrost in a warming world. Our research group has been studying Tibetan permafrost, and our aim is to understand the relationship between Tibetan permafrost dynamics and the climate warming. The principal questions are related to the formation, evolution, and the future projections of Tibetan permafrost, and also including the ice reservoirs changes and the impacts, and also the dynamics and the stability of Tibetan permafrost carbon and nitrogen pools, and more. To unveil the Tibetan permafrost dynamics and climate feedback, we have established several experiment platforms. And first, we conducted a field warming experiment in 6 typical permafrost sites. Our monitoring indicators include carbon fluxes and carbon isotopes for phenology and diversity and the root dynamics and other important carbon processes indicators and more. In addition to carbon loss from soil, our research also focuses on how permafrost soil lead to the lateral carbon losses from in waters. For this purpose, we have established a network of aquatic observations in Tibetan in waters. And our aim is to assess the carbon exchange processes in Tibetan in waters. And we both considering organic and inorganic processes as the biogeochemical and geological processes interact commonly in this region. We also established a network about photodegradation experiment platform. As in this region, the plateau receives strong photodegradation. So to answer this question, how does solar radiation affect the litter decomposition and soil carbon sequestration processes in Tibetan permafrost regions? And since last year, we have initiated a new program that is the Tibetan Permafrost Drilling Program. And our primary objective is to establish the first Tibetan permafrost core library. And this right picture shows several permafrost cores intact. We have got more than 1,200 meters of permafrost cores from 170 sites. And based on this large amount of permafrost cores, our research group are engaged in assessing and qualifying the storage and changes and impacts of Tibetan permafrost and carbon and nitrogen and ice in these regions. And this is our field campaign photo and our research group, including 3 postdoctors and 8 PhD students. And of course, we have got some interesting results, and I will give more detailed information in the coming session on Trans-Himalaya and the Arctic. And that's all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.